you could, and I think you did an amazing job of actually giving us really helpful information, not just, dodging every question and giving us PR crap. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it a lot.
All right. Cheers.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank
See
you
you
very
later.
much. Peace out. See ya.
Okay. Fix all my overlays and stuff. Me. Oh. Okay, let's do those. That one. Ah. That's me. Okay. Cool. Cool. Learned a lot about that one today. A lot of good, I would say. I definitely was tempted to push him a little bit on a couple of the questions, but I don't want to get him in trouble. Because it sounds like they understand that people are not thrilled. Even though sometimes maybe they might not be able to put where that feeling comes from, right? And it's like, you got to keep innovating, you got to keep improving, you got to keep pushing things further, because even if you're happy with where things are, right, like in this exact moment, you can end up becoming complacent. And if you become complacent, then kind of how you fall off, right? I don't think that they're going to be complacent. I think they're going to probably keep pushing stuff forward. But there was some interesting things they said, like as opposed to they don't want to just put stuff in just to put stuff in, right? I think Season 9 is a good example of like, oh man, that can cause some problems, right? When you put in some huge or some changes just to feel good for a few months and then it's not great after that. With like the whole items or whatever conversation that SVB brought up. Are you satisfied with it? I'm satisfied to a point because we had so many fucking questions. We got like half or three quarters. So to be honest with you, I didn't get to do all of the ones, but I did all of the ones that I could, and I prioritized the ones that were like more, popular, I feel like, because we talked about the 6v6 stuff, right? And like, is that even feasibly possible? Like how long it would be? And dude, I'm not gonna lie, that answer was a little bit scary. That it's potentially at the best of a few seasons, which means probably 3 to 4. 3 to 4 seasons is 8 months. That's best case scenario, or year or plus. Yeah, and I don't want to go back to another Overwatch 1 content drought. That sounds horrendous. So it's like you have to choose between like what are the two options, right? Like, do you choose between like a format that could be potentially better, but you literally don't have content for a year and potentially have the game go into a state of disrepair? And also, if you look at things like the Bungie layoffs this week, there's a lot of layoffs going around the industry. That's fucking terrifying, because like what happens if like they start working on something and then the legs get cut out from underneath them, and then we get nothing, right? Like you not only have no content that's coming out, but then the like 6v6s end up not working out. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's so many different scenarios that could play out. That's a big risk. I kind of wish I could have asked them what they had in mind for the big thing, right? Like what big thing do they have coming or want to have coming? Because it sounded like they were like, we have a few things we're thinking about, right? And it's like, how hard are you thinking about it? Are you thinking about it? Are you testing it? Is it looking good? Like, where are you at? I wanted to press them a little bit on that, but I understand that this is not the place that you would make some type of announcement like that. They'd probably do something on their own channels. So there's no chance in hell I would ever get something out of that. But yeah, I got to ask about the 7v7. That was cool. Talking about, what it would do. From what it sounded like, though, it sounded like they've never tested it in today's Overwatch, though. They've never tested 7v7 today. It was original Overwatch. I think the game's evolved since then in a lot of ways. So, just saying, the seed has been planted. Will it bear fruit? Will it even grow? Who fucking knows? But yeah, I think stuff like that is, kind of important to be able to do and to talk about and, figure out what we want to, I love that you took that's not a no from that. Yeah, I mean, it's just like I wanted to know, have they ever tried it, and it would even be feasible? Because from what Aaron said is no, they hadn't tried it. They tried it in old Overwatch, right? Um, and if it was just, I'm just saying, if it was just a me and Aaron interview and there wasn't like other people and I know SVP has to do questions, I would have said, so that's not a no. So like I would have pressured him and I would have said, absolutely, that's not a no. One, and two, you haven't tried it recently. So, I would have 100% said it, but like I had to be conscious of time and be conscious of SVB, right? Like I can't clog it all up. I get that, but things to potentially think about, you know. But I mean, he did also say that you'd have to talk to like engineering stuff. It's like 6v6 could be technically as hard as 6v6, or sorry, 6v6 could be as hard as 5v. Brain function. 6v6 is hard as 7v7. Potentially, right? Like it. Tried it in the before times long ago. Haven't tried it recently because we don't have 6v6 performance in line yet. Interesting. So yeah, so it hasn't been tried. It hasn't been tried. So it's like, you know, like, but like he did say something interesting, which is not something I didn't account for. Was the queue time difference wouldn't be closer to 50%? Because like my logic is right. Like the queue difference between 5v5 and 6v6 for DPS was like it is like 100%. It's more than double. Like the queue time for a 5v5 DPS player and a 6v6 DPS player was more than double, according to the blog post graph. So my idea was if you had another person to that role, you could reduce it by close to 50%, right? Like not exactly 50%, but in the ballpark. He thinks it's closer to 20 or even 10, which is much lower than I expected. But, you know, is that the difference between somebody sitting there and playing, right? Like, is someone willing to sit in queue for 4 minutes or 5 minutes as opposed to 7 minutes or 8 minutes, right? Hard question to answer, you know? So, I don't know. A lot of things to think about there. I enjoyed it though. I liked that. It was fun. Makes me think about a lot of things. Try 6v6 is a double-edged sword for devs. If they ditch 6v6 after testing, many will leave. It's their last hope for a better game. You say many people will leave as if that's a fact. The thing that would make people leave more than anything is queue times, right? Because like the people who play Overwatch today are people that enjoy Overwatch. I don't think Overwatch is growing as a game. I don't think that's true. I know they said millions of people play. I don't think Overwatch is growing. I don't think so. I think that it's, if anything, maintaining or in the very, 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 very slight decline, right? With peaks. Like Season 9 was probably a massive peak. Probably brought a lot of people back. Are we at numbers right now at the beginning of Season 9? Absolutely not. I refuse to believe that. Are we end of Season 9 numbers similar to where we are today? Potentially, right? Obviously, you'll have peaks and valleys as content comes out or content doesn't come out, right? Yeah, of course they're not going to come out and say our game is dying. No shit. Of course they're not going to say that. No shit. Like, duh. But the point is, though, any FPS competitive game that is competing, especially in the free-to-play market, needs to compete for players' attention, right? And Rivals coming out is a good example of something that's going to challenge them. It's going to challenge them, and they're going to have to respond. And I don't think Rivals is doing everything great. I think that the game has some flaws, but it is sort of refreshing at the same time. You can't deny that. So the point is, what this does, what FPS game is growing? Great question. I don't think any of them are growing. It just depends on their rate of decline and how often do they bring back their players. Overwatch very rarely has something that brings players back. You know what brings players back? Hero releases. How do I know the answer to that? They said it very specifically in a blog post pre-Overwatch 2. They said there's nothing in the history of Overwatch that has ever brought players back more than a new hero release. That was probably proven to not be true, though, with Season 9. The Season 9 launch proved that it doesn't take just a new hero to bring people to play the game again. There are other things that work. How do you figure out what to choose of those things? Tough decision. I don't have all the data. I can't sit there and even make a decision for you because I'm not full informed. I would probably make the wrong decision because anyone who rushes into a decision like that without proper knowledge or without proper insight is probably doomed to fail, right? But I think they have a good chance. The problem, they're gonna have to be honest with themselves, and they're gonna have to just go in and they're gonna have to fucking swing the bat and try something. And I believe in this team to try something more than in the past. But I would be lying to you if I said if the game continues on its current track of 5v5 content releases with no other changes in direction, like you're not seeing cinematics come back, you're not seeing the TV shows, you're not seeing outside of game stuff, and inside of game you're not seeing you see like small events. Like they brought up like April Fools. Granted, I thought April Fools was great. I thought April Fools was awesome. Is April Fools going to keep people playing your game? No. I worry that unless there's something that really moves the needle, I hate that I have to keep using that fucking phrase. God, it pisses me off. Unless there's something that completely keeps pulling them back, eventually new shiny toys will take their place. I'll give you a good example. Apex is finally doing the thing that everyone's asked for the longest time. Next season, you know what they're doing? They're nerfing aim assist on controller. They have been asking for that for years. Years. You want to know why they're doing it? Apex is in arguably one of its lowest states it's been. Changing the battle pass? Oh, yeah. Well, the change of the battle pass is the Corpus side. That's not their devs. I don't think their devs have input on battle pass stuff, right? Yeah, but here's the thing. They did the battle pass change, but they walked it back. They walked the battle pass change back because they realized, oh shit, we're fucking up, right? It kind of shows you that they're a little bit scared of their players, and that's a good thing because if the Corpo overlords aren't at least a little bit scared, you're probably not going to get what you want, you know. So I don't know. I hope to see Overwatch actually do some fucking big things, and I hope to actually swing for the fences. Cause yeah, I'm gonna just say it. Game's a great casual game. Fucking boring as shit nowadays. I'm so fucking bored of Overwatch. I have literally negative desire to play the game, and especially playing tank, dude. I used to love playing tank. I could play it all day long. I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't even care. I don't even talk about balance stuff anymore that often because I couldn't give a shit less. I think there's a lot of people that are also like me. Isn't burnout normal? There's not just me, though. There's a lot of people that feel the exact same way that have been around a long time. Do you think all those people are feeling burnout at the exact same time? I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe in coincidences, not like that. And I know it's not just me. Some people are more vocal about it than others, but I know it's not just me. I know for a fact. You can take my word for it if you'd like. Or you could not. Don't really give a shit either way. But I promise you it's more than that. It's more than just burnout. Much more than that. It's actually the core game that you originally started to like is no longer the same. And especially for the tank role, specifically. Not an enjoyable experience. Not enjoyable in any way, shape, or form. That's all it is. That's what it is for me. Tank's not enjoyable. I don't want to sit here and play DPS all day long. I don't want to play support. Not what I enjoyed. Not what I like. If I want to play DPS, I'll go play a DPS game. I'll go play COD. I'll go play DPS, or I'll play Val. I'll go play Fortnite. I'll go play Apex. I'll go play a shooter game. I don't like DPS in this game. I don't like supporting in this game. I always loved tank. Tank's not fun to me anymore. When I say what the burnout is, it's that. That's it for me, at least. So, anyways. Cool. I think that is a good place to... Yeah, you missed the interview. Mm. I think it's a good place to call it. Okay. I don't know if Monk's gonna keep going, but I'll send you guys to him, and you guys can go figure it out. Okay?